You know how some years just blur together and others mark you for life? If you want the upcoming year to be that year, the one that you look back on and say, that's when everything changed. It starts with 3 daily moves. Moves that don't just change your habits, they change who you are. Now, whether you're watching this in December or June, these 3 daily moves are how you build a new version of yourself. But if you are watching this before the new year begins, then you have got a powerful window to make your next chapter your best yet. Let's get right into it. All right, daily move number 1. And if you only did this one, your future self would barely recognize you. I call it the 10-second identity rehearsal. It's simple, but it's powerful. Every morning, before you pick up your phone, before your brain downloads all the chaos of the day, take 10 seconds to rehearse who you're becoming, what you're doing today, who you're being. And here's why this matters. Your brain can't fully tell the difference between what you imagine and what you actually do. When you mentally rehearse a version of yourself, seeing it and feeling it and embodying it, your brain fires the same neural pathways as if it's already happening. It's how elite athletes train, it's how surgeons prepare before complex operations, and it's how you can quietly rewire your identity one tiny mental rep at a time. In fact, that's kind of the point, because here's what I have learned after 20 years of studying change. First as a doctor, then as a coach, and always as a human being trying to figure it out myself. Most people don't struggle because they lack willpower or motivation. They struggle because they're trying to build a new life on top of an old identity. It's like trying to renovate a house without updating the foundation. Everything you build starts to crack. That's why you can spend weeks perfecting your morning routine, journaling, cold plunging, blending all the kale that you can eat, and still feel like nothing's really changing. Because change doesn't start with habits, it starts with identity. When I first left medicine, I did not feel like an entrepreneur. I still felt like a doctor who'd lost her job description. So every morning, I started closing my eyes for 10 seconds and imagining me sitting at my desk, creating videos and courses, helping people in a completely different way. Felt a bit ridiculous at first. My inner critic was loud. She had a lot of opinions. But then something shifted. That mental image started to feel normal. My brain caught up to my new reality. And side note, my first YouTube video got 87 views. Half of them were probably my mom. But I was already being the person who did this. And that's what mattered. So here's how you do it. Step 1, as soon as you wake up, before emails, before scrolling, sit up, close your eyes, and ask, who am I becoming? Step 2, picture that version of you doing one ordinary thing, something that the future you does with ease. Maybe she's calmly finishing a project that she used to procrastinate on. Maybe he's speaking with confidence in a meeting. Maybe it's you walking into a gym like you belong there. Step 3, feel it in your body. What's the posture, the breath, the energy? That's it, 10 seconds, because your identity doesn't change by thinking about it. It changes by rehearsing it. The Cleveland Clinic ran a study on healthy volunteers who did 12 weeks of mental rehearsals of doing arm and finger muscle contractions. No weights, no gym membership, just mental reps. And by the end of the 12 weeks, the test subjects had increased their muscle strength by about 13% in the arm muscle they were visualizing using and 35% in the hands. Imagine what happens when you use that same power on your confidence, your habits, your life. So tomorrow morning, before your feet hit the floor, try it. 10 seconds. No special equipment required, except maybe your imagination and a little belief. Because every time you rehearse who you're becoming, your brain gets the message. Oh, this is who we are now. And that's how change begins. Quietly, in those 10 seconds before the world wakes up. Okay, so you've rehearsed who you are. Now let's talk about proving it. Because the next daily move is where identity really starts to take shape through small, aligned action. And I call this the one aligned action rule. Every single day, do one thing your future self would high-five you for. That's it, just one. When I first started reinventing my career, I was overwhelmed. I had left a 20-year medical career, and suddenly everything felt uncertain. I didn't have a roadmap, just this deep knowing that I couldn't keep living the same story. So I made myself a rule. Every day, do one action that future me, the version of me who had this all figured out, would be proud of. Some days, that action was brave, like enrolling in a high-level coaching program, batch filming a bunch of YouTube videos, or inviting clients to work with me. Other days, it was small, like going for a walk when I wanted to hide under a blanket. And sometimes it was honestly awkward, like trying to explain to my friends why I'd left a perfectly good medical career. But I did one thing every single day, and that's what built momentum. Also, for the record, my first website logo was terrible, like clip art terrible, but it was still a vote for the woman that I was becoming. And that's the key here. Identity grows through evidence. Every small action becomes a data point in your brain that says, oh, this is who I am now. There's a whole body of research on this called the self-perception effect. Basically, we don't just act based on who we think we are. We also decide who we are based on how we act. So when you show up for even one aligned action, your brain updates its model of you. It literally rewrites your self-concept in real time. And here's another fun fact. Researchers at Duke found that about 45% of what you do every day is habitual. That means that almost half of your life is happening on autopilot. So if you consciously change even one action, you start steering the autopilot in a new direction. Here's what this looks like in practice. Step 1, in the morning after your 10-second rehearsal, ask, what's one thing my future self would thank me for today? Step 2, write it down. Make it specific and achievable, like record one video, or say no to one thing that drains me, or go to bed at 10 p.m. Then step 3, actually do it, even if it's not perfect. Some days my one aligned action was just sending a single email that I had been avoiding, one that could open a new door. But the energy shift was real. I wasn't waiting for motivation. I was being her. Because the truth is, action isn't just what follows identity, it's also what creates it. And if you've ever doubted whether small steps matter, remember, the life you're living right now is the sum of tiny decisions you made over the years. You already know how powerful repetition is. You've just been repeating the old story. Now it's time to start repeating a new one. So here's your homework. Today, do one thing, big or small, that your future self would look back on and say, thank you for doing that. And if it feels uncomfortable, good. That's your old identity stretching to make room for the new one. Let me know in the comments below what that one action is going to be. Okay, so you have rehearsed who you are and you've proved it through action, but there is one more daily move, and it's the one that cements everything that you've built. Because this last one teaches your brain to see your growth instead of skipping past it. All right, daily move number 3. I have to say, this one doesn't get nearly enough credit because while the morning is where you set your identity, the evening is where you lock it in. I call this one the evening rewrite. It's the moment that you teach your brain to notice who you were becoming that day instead of what you think you failed to do. Here's the thing. Your brain has a negativity bias. It's like Velcro for what went wrong and Teflon for what went right. That's why you can do 9 things well, but lie awake replaying that one awkward conversation from 2 p.m. Or is that just me? So if you don't intentionally record the moments when you showed up as your future self, your brain deletes the evidence. And if your brain keeps deleting the evidence, you will never feel like you're changing, even when you are. When I was a medical resident, there were nights that I would crawl into my call room at 2 a.m., utterly exhausted, and my mind would immediately start listing everything that I didn't do perfectly that day. Every mistake, every missed detail. And it's taken me years to retrain that instinct. Now, before bed, I do the opposite. I ask one question. What did I do today that was in alignment with who I'm becoming? That's it. Not what did I achieve, not what did I check off my list, but who was I being? Because every time that you acknowledge that evidence, you strengthen the neural pathway for that identity. You're literally rewiring your brain to recognize yourself as the new version of you. This goes back to the self-perception theory that we talked about in the last step. We don't just act based on who we think we are, we infer who we are based on what we observe ourselves doing. So when you write down evidence like, I spoke calmly even when I was frustrated, I went for a walk instead of scrolling, I showed up on time for myself, you're feeding your brain proof. It's like you're writing a daily news headline about your own evolution. And you get to be both the journalist and the main character. So here's how to do it. Step 1, before bed, open a notebook or notes app. Keep it simple. Step 2, write 3 sentences that begin with, today I was the kind of person who. So this could look like, today I was the kind of person who kept my promise to myself. Today, I was the kind of person who moved my body even when I didn't feel like it. Today, I was the kind of person who listened instead of rushing to fix. Step 3, read them out loud if you can. Your brain encodes information more deeply when it hears your own voice. Do that, and within a few weeks, you'll start noticing something. You stop measuring your worth by productivity and start measuring it by integrity, by alignment. When I look back on the biggest transformations of my life, they didn't come from massive leaps. They came from hundreds of tiny nights like that, quietly recording proof that I was changing, even when no one else could see it yet. So that's your third daily move. End each day by writing the story of who you were becoming. Because if you don't author your identity, your old one will keep writing the script for you. All right, let's pull this all together. Because when you combine these 3 moves, something really powerful happens. And I want to show you exactly how to make it stick. Move number 1, you rehearse who you're becoming for 10 seconds every morning. Move number 2, you prove it with 1 aligned action each day. Move number 3, you record the evidence every night before you sleep. Morning, day, evening. Rehearse, prove, record. That's the identity loop. That's how you build a brand new you from the inside out. Because reinvention doesn't happen in one big cinematic moment. It happens in quiet daily repetitions, in who you decide to be when no one is watching. Neuroscientists call this experience-dependent plasticity. Your brain literally reshapes itself based on repeated experiences. And when those experiences are aligned with your future self, change doesn't just stick, it compounds. Looking back, I can see that every major change in my life started with those same 3 moves, long before I even had a name for them. When I left medicine, when I started creating content and courses, even when I picked up a golf club for the first time, which is my current reinvention project. Each moment of those big changes felt terrifying at first, but each time I practiced seeing myself differently. I took aligned action and I noticed the evidence, and slowly my life began to match the identity that I had been rehearsing. That's why I want you to start now. Not in January, not when you feel ready, because readiness is a side effect of action, not a prerequisite. And besides, if you wait for perfect timing, you will still be waiting this time next year with the slightly newer planner and the same old story. Now, if you're ready to put these moves into motion, I have created something to help you get started. It's called The Reset. It's a free 5-day challenge where I will walk you through simple, science-backed tools to reset your focus, your energy, and your mindset. And you'll get a printable tracker to start practicing these identity moves right away. You can grab it using the link below in the description. When you look back on the year ahead, I want you to be able to say, that was the year everything changed. Not because life magically handed you new circumstances, but because you finally started showing up as the person who could handle them. And that is the most powerful move that you'll ever make. Now, if you want to make this your breakthrough year, it also helps to know what's been quietly holding you back. So next, watch the video that I am queuing up on the next screen. It's called 3 Habits That Quietly Stole 10 Years of My Life. It'll help you to spot the subtle patterns that drain your energy before they sabotage your next chapter. I will see you there. Your brain fires the same neural pathways. Am I struggling with neural pathways? Neural pathways. And I call this one, what do I call it? What I call this one? Okay, I call this the. Okay, good. That's a wrap.